Hi, my name is Josiah, and we're going to be talking about the lack of parking on Virginia Tech's campus. Parking is a challenge that many Virginia Tech students face, and this also includes faculty members and residents in Blacksburg. As a freshman living on campus, finding a parking spot that's close to your dorm is almost impossible. For example, if you're living in the dorm West Eggleston, the nearest parking option is in Duck Pond, which is roughly a 20-minute walk. That's not very ideal if you're on a tight class schedule or if there's very inclement weather. For off-campus students and faculty, the problem doesn't go away. Academic buildings parking is also very limited, and it makes many people forced to park in parking lots that are more than 10 minutes away from their classes or offices. At the end of the day, this adds unnecessary stress, and it kind of adds on to the already demanding schedule that students and teachers have. Parking also, it goes beyond just students and teachers. Residents within Blacksburg are also affected by the lack of parking on Virginia Tech's campus.
This is Andrew Park, and I will be presenting the ethical considerations of our presentation. So for our first ethical consideration, we have sustainability for the environment. Some of our solutions, such as more parking and public transport, can cause more CO2 emissions, which can lead to negative impacts on the environment. For our second ethical consideration, it is financial burden on students, and not just the students, but also for the school, because it costs money to build more parking and pay for more public transport. So the school will have to also take more money from the students, which will be a financial burden on the students. And for our third ethical consideration, it is accessibility for all students, because some students may have disabilities that may not allow them to benefit from these solutions, such as not being able to walk and claustrophobia.
Hi, I'm Laney, and I'm going to be talking about the potential solutions to our problems. The first solution would be to add more parking. Adding more parking on the dorm side would allow first-year students and on-campus students to park their car closer to the dorms. Adding more parking on the academic campus side would allow more parking for staff and off-campus students. Second, our other potential solution would be to make campus more walk and bike accessible by adding more bike lanes. This would just completely eliminate the need for more parking and would be more environmentally sustainable as well. The third solution would be to improve the Blacksburg and Virginia Tech transit system by adding more buses and more drivers and more routes. It would eliminate the need for more parking because more people would be able to take the bus from one place to another.
I'm Jake, and while coming up with our solutions, we came up with a list of criteria that each solution should follow. So our first one is cost. The cost is important because it has to be realistic. It can't be something super expensive that wouldn't be able to get done. And also, the cheaper the solution is, the more likely it is to be approved and actually put in place. And if it's expensive, it could add to students' tuition and the cost to live in Blacksburg for the residents, which isn't good. Our second criteria is sustainability. So sustainability is important because we want to make sure the solution we put in lasts a while and doesn't have to be fixed regularly. And also we want it to follow the ethical concerns, like climate change, making sure it's good for the environment, just stuff like that. And our third is efficiency. So we want to make sure the solution is actually going to improve the parking problem at Virginia Tech and like fix the problem, not just pay for a solution that doesn't actually help. And our final criteria is safety. So obviously safety is important, not only making the solution, like the construction aspect, but after it's put in place, making sure it's safe for the students, it's safe for drivers, it's safe for Blacksburg residents, just everyone involved.
My name is Jane Oconnell, and I'm going to be reviewing the decision criteria table. So for each criteria, we chose a weight for the criteria based on the value to each of us. So for the first criteria of cost, the weight is 25%, sustainability is 20%, efficiency is 35%, and safety is 20%. So then for each solution, 1, 2, and 3, we rated them for each criteria on a score from 1 to 10. And then based on that score and the weight of the criteria, there is a weighted score. So for solution 1, which is adding more parking, the cost, we rated it a 2 due to the increased cost that would go into building and sustaining the building structure. For sustainability, we also rated it a 2, which is due to the increased traffic and car use following that, along with the sustainability of building the new parking garage. Efficiency, we rated an 8 because adding more parking is the clear solution. However, it does have its own other downfalls. Safety, we rated it a 6 because it would be a safe solution. However, the increased traffic would be unsafe to some others. For the second solution, which is increasing the walking and other travel forms on campus, for cost, we rated it a 6 because it would be a pretty low cost solution by simply adding more bike paths and other modes of transportation on campus. For sustainability, we rated it a 9 due to the sustainable solution of using other forms of transportation, which has low carbon emissions. For efficiency, we rated it a 6 because it would be efficient most of the time. However, there are setbacks such as weather conditions. It would be harder to use modes of transportation like biking and walking. People would rather have like a warm other form of transportation. Safety is a 7. It would be safe, but the increased traffic on campus with bikers and walkers could have some accidents. For the third solution of public transportation, for the cost, we rated it a 7 because we do already have a public transportation service in place. It would be more about making it more efficient and possibly increasing the number of buses and bus drivers. So because there is already a system in place, it would be a cheap solution. For sustainability, we rated it an 8 because by increasing the use of public transportation, that would decrease the use of cars, and because public transportation is a sustainable effort by decreasing the mass numbers of carbon emissions. For efficiency, we rated it an 8 because it would be helpful for students to get from one place to another without having to rely on their own cars. They could rely on the system. And for safety, we rated it a 7 because it would be ran by hired drivers that would hopefully be good drivers and would have low accidents. So for the total weighted scores, for solution 1, we had a 4.9. For solution 2, we had a 6.8. And for solution 3, we had a 7.55. Therefore, the third solution is the ideal solution, and our final recommendation